Now, if you haven't heard anything yet, well, this is about the Google antitrust lawsuit. And yes, the Google antitrust lawsuit has changed the game, folks. Now, first, there's a Google monopoly. Now, a federal judge ruled that Google broke the law to maintain its monopoly in web search, making second such ruling against Google in the past year. Now, there are changes that are going to come about. Now, the ruling could lead to various changes, including creation, alternative search engine changes. Now, Google deals with Apple and possibly lower prices for product advertised online, which is a good thing. Now, the future speculations. Now, there are speculations about Apple creating its own search engine, breaking Google into smaller companies, changes in how Google handles users' data. And it's also going to affect the App Store. Now, the ruling could also affect Google control over its Android App Store, potentially allowing more freedom for app developers and lower fees. Now, the recent ruling against Google for remaining its monopoly in the web search could have implications for users. And the first thing is increased competition. Alternative search engines. Now, the ruling might encourage the development and growth of alternative search engines, providing users with more choices and potentially better services. Innovation, increased competition could lead to more innovation in search technology, improving the overall user experience. Changes in deals and pricing. On the Apple search engine, there are speculations that Apple might develop its own search engine, which could offer a different approach to search and privacy. Apple's known for privacy. Lower prices. Now, with more competition, the cost of product advertised online might decrease, which will benefit the consumer. And then you have user data handling. Privacy improvements, changing how Google handlers use data, could lead to better privacy protection for users. And transparency as well. Now, users might gain more transparency and control over their data. Now, the impact on the app stores includes developer freedom. Now, the ruling could affect Google control over its Android app stores, potentially allowing more freedom for app developers and lower fees. And more app choices. Users might see a wider variety of apps and services available at the Google Play Store. Now, overall, the ruling aims to create a more competitive and fair market, which could lead to better services, lower pricing, and improved privacy for users. Now, is there a specific aspect of this ruling that you're interested in? If there is a particular aspect that you're interested in, leave it in the comments. I'll be glad to look at what you're saying. On the recent ruling, on the focus, this ruling specifically addresses Google dominance in the web search market and its practices to maintain that dominance. And key finding, now Google was found to have illegally monopolized online searches and advertising by paying companies like Apple and Samsung to make Google the default search engine on their devices. Now, the implication. Now, potential changes include development of alternative search engines, changes in Google deals with Apple, and possibly lower prices for product advertised online. Now, the future speculations. There are discussions about Apple creating its own search engine, breaking Google into smaller companies, and changes to how Google handles the user data. Now, the previous ruling was back in 2020. Now, the focus of that previous ruling was part of a broader antitrust case against Google focused on the dominance in search advertising. And key finding, now Google was accused of monopolizing search advertising markets, which are different from a digital advertising technology markets, addressed in the recent ruling. And the case was significant to setting the stage for ongoing antitrust scrutiny of Google business practices. Now the outcome. The previous ruling did not immediately lead to significant changes, but highlighted the needs for regulatory oversight and set the groundworks for future cases. And the big thing that was coming in the ruling was the monopoly concerns. Now, both rulings highlight concerns about Google monopoly, power, and its impact on competition and innovation. On the regulatory action, now both cases involve significant regulatory actions aimed at curbing Google's dominance and promoting a more competitive market. And a long-term impact the rulings have on the potential to reshape how Google operates and influence the broader tech industry. Now, overall, while the recent ruling is more focused on web search and immediate implications, the previous ruling laid to the groundwork for ongoing antitrust scrutiny and regulatory action against Google, which is something of importance. Now, the recent ruling against Google for maintaining its monopoly in web searches had significant applications for advertisers. And the one thing was revenue impact. Now, search ads, Google generates a substantial portion of its revenue from search ads. Now, the ruling could disrupt the revenue stream by leaking Google's ability to secure exclusive deals that make it the default search engine on various devices. Market share. Now, potential changes in the default search engine setting, Google market share in search advertising could decrease, leading to reduced ad revenue. And then we also have the competitive landscape. Now, that is something else. Now, the competitive increased competition. Now, the ruling may encourage the growth of alternative search engines, which could attract advertisers looking for more competitive rates in diverse platforms. And then you have ad pricing. More competition in search markets could lead to lower ad pricing, benefiting advertising, but potentially reducing Google's profit margins. And then you have operational changes. Exclusive deals, Google may be required to eliminate or modify its exclusive contracts with device manufacturers and browsers, which have been crucial in maintaining its dominance. There's something else, folks. Then the business practices. Now, the company might need to adopt more transparent and fair business practice, impacting how it negotiates and manages advertising deals. And again, as we talked about earlier, the revenue scrutiny. Now, ongoing oversight, then the ruling sets the precedent for increased regulatory scrutiny of Google advertising practices, which could lead to further legal challenges and restrictions. Now, this is something else, and this is profound. And then you have the compliance. Now, Google may face higher compliance costs as it adjusts the business practices to meet the new regulatory requirements. Now, overall, the ruling could lead to a more competitive and diversified advertising market, potentially benefiting advertiser consumers, but posing challenges for Google advertising business. Now, you wonder how this is going to affect YouTube and how it's going to affect, revenue. It could mean more revenue for creators. I really wonder. That's something that could be also addressed in the comments if you know more information about that, feel free to also post that in the comments. Now, is there a specific aspect of Google advertising business you're particularly interested in? If so, let's talk about that. Increased competition, stricter regulations, user data handling with transparency, privacy, impact on advertisers. All this stuff is so important. And all this stuff is generating a change. And it's going to be something magnificent, folks. Now, this is the outcome of the antitrust lawsuit, and there's more to come. You guys, thanks for watching. Remember, like, share, and subscribe, and have a fantastic day. Thanks for coming by.